Thank you all for coming. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Lewis. I am a professor here at the Middlebury Institute, and I direct the work of our new tools or open source team. We are having a very exciting week. Our whole week is going to be this small seminar. So we are getting for the full week, which you will get a taste of today, which is what I'm sure will be an extremely interesting talk by Roger Cozien and Grégoire Mercier from maKina. They will describe what they do in plenty of detail, but what we are particularly interested in is how do you look at a piece of photographic evidence and determine if it's precisely as it was taken, if it has been altered, and if so, in what way has it been altered? As somebody who works a lot with North Korean images, we discover that North Korea changes images in all kinds of ways. Sometimes the test doesn't work, they make the missile look successable. Sometimes Kim Jong-un is just feeling bad about himself, they make his ears a little bit smaller. So our ability to do that work is based entirely upon the software solutions that maKina has produced. Primarily, the one that we've been working with is Tungstène, but we have Roger and Grégoire here today, well, this week, to do a full training. So we thought we would share for you a little bit of what they're doing, and with that, I will turn it over to Roger.
Yes, okay. Thanks, Jeffrey, for the introduction. Okay, cool. Thank you, Jeffrey. Hi to everybody in the room and remotely. My name is Roger Cozien. I am in Monterey this week with my estimated colleague, Grégoire. We are going to talk about one software we've been designing and developing since the last, let's say, 12 or 13 last years. And it's all about the analysis, the deep analysis of images. Just a quick background for myself. I have a PhD in computer science and physics. Grégoire has a PhD in maths, specifically signal processing. I used to be in the French law enforcement, and I still work for the Appeals Court of Paris. So I'm a legal expert or legal witness, as you say in English, okay? And we use Tungstène, our software, a lot for legal cases. Okay, cool. Very briefly, well, I've got many slides to show, so depending what would be the time, I may jump to some and skip some slide to jump to another one. Okay, so please don't be angry at me. Okay, so 3 parts of the presentation today. The main one is about Tungstène, our main software, fully dedicated to deep analysis. Then we move to Galathée in French, Galathea in English. It's a new module inside Tungstène, fully dedicated to debunking generated images, which is quite of a major issue, and it went a little bit crazy about that stuff right now. But anyway, it's fully dedicated to generated images. And then, if we have time, we might take a look to a very new project founded by the French Department of Defense. That's the reason why you find the logos on the right. The name of this new software is CARBURE, and the aim is to assist, human users in the final decision. Am I dealing with a doctor image or not? Okay? It's all based on neural networks, deep learning, and it's a way to help us to make the final decision. Okay, cool. So we are now using version number 10.2. First work was back in 2010, so something like nearly 15 years, yes, 15 years. And it was founded since the beginning by the French Department of Defense. And it's not a big secret by some intelligences wanted to assess and to review some open source images we find on the internet, social media, and so on, or from different press agencies in the world. Okay, that's the reason why they founded us some long time ago. And it's used now, of course, by the French DoD, Ministry of Interior, Homeland Security, French Justice, of course, and the French Press Agency, European Commission, and of course, the MIS in Monterey. The main purpose of our work, and of our software, Tungstène, is to detect, amplify, extract, and reveal what we call, this is the most important word, what we call the weak signals, inside any kind of image, okay? We will deal with alteration, manipulation, and so on. And obviously, when you want to change, to alter an image, what we are going to make on this image is standing in weak signals. If it was so obvious, you won't need any software, you won't need me. So that's the reason why we want to detect and reveal these weak signals, okay? So from a very fundamental point of view, Tungstène is not about photograph, it's about maths and signal processing. We're just considering that any kind of image, when I say image, it's both photographs and video, digital videos, okay? Still images and animated images, sorry. Our work is based on signal processing. Okay, cool. So let's go through. How it works very, very in a simplified way. On the left, you got the way any camera, high-end camera, professional camera, or the camera you got on your smartphone is working. You got light hitting a sensor, and right after the sensor, you find computer stuff, making a file, and in this file, you find many, I would say, math stuff, computer stuff, and at the end, you get the pixels. Pixels are made for your eyes, for human eyes. Machines don't need actually pixels, okay? What we are looking at in Tungstène and in our work, it's not at the pixels, it's in the layers between the sensor and the final pixels. On the right, you find a very simplistic way to illustrate Tungstène. This is different kind of filters you find in the software. We'll go through them and I'll let you know how it works, okay? So you got pixels, but we don't care about pixels in Tungstène. We care what is in the file, in the image file. So you got a software with a full graphic interface, and as you can see, we get many different filters, features. It's very scientific, all about math, physics, a little bit of optics, but it's not like Photoshop. Okay? We are not modifying pictures, images. We try to retrieve information, mathematical information, from the file itself. Okay. First example, it's an image coming, a photograph coming from Cyprus. There was a soccer match. It went crazy. People were fighting. I guess someone died during this riot. And as you can see, you got the guy from the police forces. The word at the back of the guy in yellow and green is astynomia, meaning police in Greek. And the other guy on the right is wearing a knuckle brace. Is that right? Knuckle brace?
Brass knuckles.
Brass knuckle. Okay, brass knuckle, which is absolutely forbidden even in Cyprus. Okay, so they send us the pictures to help them demonstrate that it's all fake, and the officers over there don't use brass knuckles. Sorry, brass knuckles. Okay, so all the results I'm going to show you on the slide are coming from the software itself. Okay, it's not any drawing; it's results coming from Tungstène. Very quickly, we can see that two areas have been, I would say, enlightened during the post-processing process. The word astynomia, to be sure that you can see this is all about the police forces, and of course the brass knuckles. Am I right?
You got it.
Brass knuckles. Okay. But right now, at this point, I can't say if it's fake or not. I just can say that something has been done. Could be just to get some more light, contrast, and so on. Well, you got to trust me because it takes at least a full week to understand everything in the software. Jeffrey and his team.
That's optimistic, by the way.
at least 1 week. We can demonstrate that the brass knuckle was patched from another image to that one. Okay, we get some kind of weird textures and outlines, like square outlines, that can demonstrate that it was a patch from a second image. Okay, so it's all fake. Okay, as a very, very famous example, back, we are in North Korea. I guess it was in, Jeffrey, can you?
2011.
Yeah, that's it. The great leader died and people had to come to mourn all night long and so on. This image was released by the official North Korean agency, KCNA, I guess, KCNA. And our client, the AFP, French press agency, was very surprised the way things were pictured in this image. Can you take a look to the background, the crowd background? It's too clear, too much light on it. Okay, like you find, big light or projectors above the crowd, which is absolutely impossible. And indeed, the software is telling us that the signal, the very signal of this background have been deeply modified and amplified. Okay, this is quite the same result in 2D and 3D. And if you take a look at the 3D result on the left, you can see a very high spike, showing that something very strong and deep has been made on the background of the image. Okay, it's not. They didn't have the crowd. They don't need actually. Okay, in North Korea, they say you come. Okay, no other choice. So they just wanted us to be sure that we see all the people mourning. Still in North Korea, they are preparing to invade or to attack the US, obviously. And on this, it's an official material, it's an official image. On this one, they made two kinds of alterations. One is just about looking good or looking nice on the picture. Can you see all the medals and the military stuff on the uniform? It has been increased, enlightened, and so on, okay, to look good. And what you can see, which is quite clever, they did the same on the reflection on the table, okay? Showing that they know they are doing something. They know that they have to do both the physical object and the reflection. However, we can find other kind of forgery on the background, on the map of the background, and the document just in front of, what's his name? Kim Jong-un?
Yes.
Kim Jong. Some information was removed. Maybe the final plan, or I don't know, something very important was removed and replaced by some just blue and white. Okay, we know it for sure. Okay, the software is telling us the information, the way the information is, I would say, generated on this part is different from the rest of the image. Okay, same image, different kind of results. Okay, but you can easily make fun of Iran, North Korea, and so on. You must know and understand that all the countries are doing the same. Not maybe for the same purpose. I mean, the French government is doing it, and your government is doing the same. Very famous picture. The night you neutralized, took away Osama bin Laden. This picture, and it is an official one. You can find it on the White House website. Okay. We did nothing on it, just downloaded it from the website of the White House. Obviously, several alterations was found in this image. For instance, your president or former president Barack Obama, I guess his face was too dark. He was standing in the corner of the room, and they had to increase the light on his face. Okay. Can you see the tie on the right? Okay. There is a tie. A part of a tie. We find a small, a strange shape like a rectangle on the tie, like something like an ID badge was removed. Okay, the documents on the computer in front of Hillary Clinton was blurred, quite easy, and very strange. The dark part below the table in front of Hillary, it's not a photographic darkness. It's like painting, a black painting. Might have been something. She was wearing maybe weird shoes, I don't know, but it's not photographic black, okay? Something was removed over there. Okay, it was just for the free. Another very quick, another example. It's a French case. This is a military from the French Navy on the left, and a civilian ship on the boat on the right. These guys went to Somalia and had to face pirates. The skipper was killed, okay, and the French Navy has to say interact or to intervene or to
Interdict.
yes, exactly, and to free the crew. Okay, so through the software, as you can see, we find some kind of dark hole in the hull of both ships. Actually, you know, the official markings were removed. Okay. On any military ship, you find the name of the ship, identification number or something. Okay. It's a I would say communication or publicity image. So they doctor it a little bit just to make it clean, and you can't identify which ship was involved during the event. All right. Other example, very easy. Can you see it's an image taken from a forest somewhere, from a plane or drone, and with the software we can discover that maybe a road or river was removed and replaced by some trees and vegetation, right? Okay, this one is a tough one. Sometimes you can't just run filters. Okay, you have you need a full strategy to be able to assess and to review the image. This case could look easy and simple, but however it was not. We had to make. Can you say sample to sample some part of the image?
Yes.
Okay.
Comparing two samples.
Exactly. Okay. We took some small parts in the sky, and we made comparison to the signals we get from the plane itself, okay? And we use different kind of filters, and each time we were using and comparing samples, we got very different signatures, this is the word, signatures, from the sky and the plane, okay? And at the end, we were able to stress out some kind of, you know, halo around the plane. Nothing natural. This is the work of the guy patching the plane and trying to make it look like it was in the sky at first place, you know, maybe blurring a little bit the edges and so on. Okay, can you see the yellow on the right? Okay, is that the track of the guy who did the forgery? Okay, here it is. Nothing natural, nothing physical. It's just coming out from Photoshop. Okay, let's move on. Sometimes, mainly because the images was heavily compressed, I would say quantified, meaning that it was on any website or WhatsApp or any social networks, we find what we may call compression. We actually call it quantization or quantification. Anyway, we lose information, okay? We lose high frequencies, we lose details. So we can't use the basic filters. We need to skip these filters and find another way to do it. This is the reason why we design what we call physics-based analysis and filters. Let me show you. Same image by two different versions. Do we have two planes or do we find three planes? Okay. We are going to use what we call light waves or isoclines or even isophotos. And can you see those lines coming out from the planes, at the back of the planes? This is just the turbulence. We spot out the turbulence due to the reactor working, you know, the hot turbulence and so on. And obviously you don't find them, you can't find them on the third plane, the small one. So maybe it could be a clue that something's wrong with this plane, okay? It's not a final clue, it's not a final decision. And I make a small drawing, and obviously it's just like the reactors, the engine of the third plane is not working. Okay, let's use it on a real case. Back in Iran in, I can't see from here, 2008, okay. The Iranian regime was showing off, saying that we are about to launch ground-to-ground missiles and so on. And this image became very famous because it was the first time. So we got a launch of 4 missiles. Okay. And some guys in UK spotted out that, can you see the two dust clouds? They look very similar. However, who can say that in the Iran desert, two clouds never look similar? Okay. We went through this image with Tungstène, and indeed, from a mathematical point of view, the two clouds are exactly the same. It's not, I must stress that out, it's not about a visual point of view, it's a mathematical, the way the pixels are built over there are exactly the same, okay? It's a copy-paste. And what we discovered, we got the same effect for the two missiles. One is a copy of the other one. So the question is, which one, okay? So for that, oh, sorry, I'm back. Yeah, we are using isoclean, light waves, and can you see this very weird, strange holes close to the, I would say, second or third missile, right in the front of the, right in the middle of the image? It's just like, you know, lights were collapsing at a point, which is absolutely impossible, except if you have a black hole. I won't assume that anyway. So obviously something went wrong with that missile. They removed the wreck and had to rebuild everything, to reconstruct. So they use a missile on the very right to copy paste and to make it look like everything was a success. Okay. So it's a way to use physical information captured by the sensor inside the image and to use it to assess the authenticity of the case and the image. Okay. So based on that physical or physics-based approach, you are able to get a lot of information from any kind of image. Not only about, you know, is it fake or not? Has it been manipulated or not? It's a way to get physical information. We have now a beautiful F-18 Super Hornet going through the sound barrier. We say sound wall in French.
Yes, but the physical phenomenon that produces this is more complicated.
Yes, I know. It's about
yes.
moisturized and so on. Okay, well, let's say sound barrier. Okay. So anyway, what I'm interested in is that with the light waves, I can have a full review, full assessment of all the close environment of the plane. Can you see those lines at the nose of the plane? You just have the feeling that something is happening. You know, the plane is going through the air. Okay. So you know it's not like a model or generated images, it's a physical event. Okay. Same result with different filters and same kind of information. You know for sure that something is happening from a physical point of view. All right then. Another case coming from the MIS, okay, and from Jeffrey's team.
Near and dear to my heart.
Yes. Can you give us maybe an explanation of this case?
Sure. North Korea launched a missile from a submarine, and they wanted us to believe very much that it worked swimmingly, because they had previously given us a computer-generated video of a launch, which was not very persuasive. And so we were curious as to whether it really worked or not, and whether this was an authentic image.
And however, we discovered many things on this image. For instance, all the skies was clean. I mean, they removed everything from the sky. So I don't know why. However, they left, can you see those little, I would say, waves or small things at the very top of the image? It's something they forgot or they left. I don't know why. But anyway, the sky is not a real sky. It's not a blue sky or gray sky. This is just like a painting. Okay. And furthermore, we discovered that I would say the cloud of water was blurred on purpose. I don't know why. Some other part was increased in texture and so on. Okay, so it's a digital stage, or it's digital staging. Okay, I don't know if the event was real. I guess it was, but for any reason they wanted to present something more fancy, I would say. Okay, same case with different filters. As you can see, you can't get information inside a part of the water cloud. It was blurred on purpose and so on. Same kind of missile, Jeffrey, I guess. Mm-hmm. Okay, but in that case, we are getting information that the event took place. It was a real physical event. Okay, we got the light wave, which are coherent to the physical expectation. Okay, we can find what we call high pressure area due to the plume and so on, and the launch of the missile. And something very interesting, we can, with one filter we got in Tungstène, which name is fluor, we can even get some near-infrared information, showing that something very hot has been captured by the sensor. And you expect to get some heat coming from the plume of a missile anyway. Okay. And at the end, at the very end, you can stack all the results in Tungstène and get a clear view of what is happening in the image and during that event. And can you tell us about the alloy you discovered, by the way, at this time?
Yeah, we had this very strange experience once we started running all of the North Korean missile tests through these filters, because you can see surrounding the missile, there's a kind of halo. And we kept seeing the halo over and over and over again. And I think one interesting thing about the software is your first impulse is to imagine that everything is fake.
Yep.
You have to spend a lot of time looking at real images to know what normal looks like, and then you're in a position to look at fake. And so for a brief period, we thought, well, maybe that's a line where they've cut and pasted it, but it turns out it's a signature of a real launch. It's a shock wave around the missile, and it's distorting the atmosphere. And that distortion, which you don't see with your eyes, is sensitive enough, we think, that the camera is picking it up. Because the camera, if you think about it, the camera is a sensor, and it's recording this data in a file, and the computer is giving you a visual thing that you can see with your, our very not impressive eyes, my least impressive of all, because I have trifocals. But the underlying data is much richer, right? And so the software brings out the fact that actually there is this shock wave, and it is encoded in the data, but you just have to slice it the right way.
It's a very important issue and point. Our sensors are very sensitive, okay? And they capture a lot of information, and more information than we need for our eyes. And this information is stored inside the file. Okay? And with the proper filters, algorithm, and math, you can spot them out and assess them. All right, in the same idea, you can use Tungstène to assess lots of kind of satellite or I would say aerial images.
Yeah. Aerial images, overhead images.
So this one is coming from Planet Labs, a company in San Francisco, I guess you know a lot about. In that satellite, they had an infrared sensor. So that's the same view. This one is taken by the satellite with the onboard sensor, okay, in infrared. It's about, crop, vegetation, and so on. What we do in Tungstène, in our software, we take the red, green, blue image, the regular one, and through Tungstène, we get quite the same information, okay, using this hidden information stored inside the file. Okay? And at this time, we don't need the infrared sensor. Of course, the color are not quite the same, but the information is the same. Another view, I guess it's an oil field somewhere in near Kazakhstan or something. And first of all, you can get the stitching, coming from the satellite.
Oh, if I can, Roger.
Yes.
Roger will probably be too modest to say this. He showed this to an engineer at Planet whose face fell because there is a proprietary design aspect to their sensor that the minute he saw that, he realized he could certainly work out that stitching is an artifact of that proprietary design piece of information, which
yes,
they would rather no one focus on.
And again, we don't add anything. The information is already inside the file, okay? And at the end, we get some kind of, I don't know if it's very useful in that case, but we get some kind of very nice enhanced vision of the scene, of the space and everything. Okay. Other examples coming from Planet Labs again. Can you see on the black and white result? You can see the stitching again, okay, with weird outlines. And what we can see now in pink and blue, this is the fresh water melting with the seawater. The more it gets pinky, the more you got some kind of a melting. You see turbidity in English or something? Yes, that's it. Okay. So again, it's
That is a word I only learned in a remote sensing context, so no one
exactly.
else is gonna know what it means, but.
Yes, you are. So the main aspect here is that we have a lot of information inside the file. It's not only about, forgery, manipulation, and so on. It's about what kind of information the sensor was able to capture. Okay, let's move on. A very interesting case, again, sent to me by the MIS. It was at the beginning of the war between Russia and Ukraine. And, Russia has some kind of, say, troll farming. And they released for the European people, like me and Grégoire, some kind of, I would say, propaganda picture with, can you see those stickers, weird stickers at the back of each car saying UA, those European community without Ukraine, okay? So, and I guess it was you and maybe Melissa who find them or something?
Right, so there was, widespread Russian claims that there was tremendous sentiment throughout Europe for a Europe without Ukraine.
And
these stickers were.
And that scale was quite easy, very, very fast through Tungstène. You can see the stickers shining in the dark. It's all fake, okay? And they didn't even try to make something clean, something difficult. It's just something pasted on some casual pictures taken in the street, okay? So all the stickers were totally fake. Right. One legal case we had to go through with Grégoire in Paris for the French justice. The source image is on the left. Can you see this handsome guy? He's wearing a nice pins on his jacket. Can everyone see the pins? No. So we received that image, and the way the picture was taken and the picture was taken was very, very problematic. Okay. Anyway, wearing this kind of pins is always problematic, but the place is it was a huge issue.
Believe it or not, you could make it worse.
Yes, we could make it worse. At the conference in Middlebury, I can't say where it was, but Jeffrey can.
It was worse.
Yeah, it was worse. Yes. Okay. Anyway. So we received from the French Department of Justice this image, trying to understand why it's happening, and very easily we were able to demonstrate that actually it's a montage. Okay, it was made with two different parts. Can you see the head is standing in one part and the rest of the body in another one? Okay, and if you take a look in some result, even the pins is glowing in the dark. It's glowing. Okay. Showing a very weird and strange mathematical signature. So we got the final answer with this filter again, which name is Fluor. Can you see the stitching right at the bottom of the neck and at the beginning of the jacket and the scarf? It's going rectangular and too squarey. Okay. It was not very well made, but however, if you take a look to the source image, it is in the dark, it's all black. So you can't see anything with your own eyes, but through the software, you can see the stitching, and it's not well, I mean, it was not made so well. Okay? Okay, very, very fast. I guess many of you know Nicolas Sarkozy, former French president. He's facing many legal issues right now. And one of the major ones was about the funding of a campaign by the Libyan regime, Galathée and so on. Okay. And some journalists in France found this document on the left, written in Arabic, reading Arabic. I guess it's
John reads Arabic,
and if I'm not wrong, it says that my dear friend Nicolas, blah blah blah, we are happy to give you some money to help you for your campaign and so on. Okay, you got the calendar, you got the date, you got the amount, you got everything, you got the signature and so on. So again, the French justice asked us to review, to assess this document, and our conclusion, it was all real. Okay. We can't for sure say if what is written happened really or not, but anyway, the document The scan of the document was all real. Okay, no track for any forgery and so on. And can you see this kind of light blue cyan ink in the signature? Everybody thought it was something of like water coming on the paper, and the ink was what you see in English, dripping. Okay. Okay. Actually not. It was the official stamp from the Libyan authority, which was, I would say, removed, and then we were able to get it back. This is what we call a digital palimpsest. I guess it's the same word in English. Okay. So it was stored inside the file, waiting for the right algorithm to reveal it. Okay. Perfect example for a weak signal. Okay, let's move on. Am I good for time?
I think you're great for time. We've got the room until what time, Jessica?
Two. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we need time for questions or?
I will invite people. If you don't understand something and you're curious,
please,
Roger's invited me to interrupt him, but I'm following. So, but if you're not following, it's fine to be like, wait a second.
Okay, very famous case in Europe back in 2013. This guy is Yanis Varoufakis, former, I guess it was from budget minister or something, or economic minister. And a very famous video went viral when he was giving a finger to Angela Merkel, a former German chancellor, okay? And the question was it real or fake? Because he denied it. Okay, he said no, it's all fake. I never did such a thing. Okay, so we went through it, and indeed, it was a montage made with two parts. It's a video. I'm going to show you the video in a minute, but obviously, all the filters are telling us you got an upper part. I mean, the upper part of the body and the rest of the body, including the famous finger. Okay. And do we have internet over here? Yes. It was made by a satirical TV show. They made it on purpose. Let me cut the sound. I'm going to jump to the interesting part. Let me show you. Yeah. It's made with a green background and an actor, can you see, playing just the arm and the finger, and they make a digital fake. But they didn't imagine that it was going to be so viral, and they had to make a statement afterwards saying, no, it's all fake, we did it just for fun, and so on. But things went crazy between Greece and Germany due to that video. Okay. Let's move to a very actual and very important issue and question. It's all about generated images. Okay, I'm going to skip that example right now. Okay. We need now, due to everything with the latest computer technology, we need a new typology. We are going to make categories between what we call natural images, any kind of images taken by a camera, a smartphone, and so on. What we call synthetic images, we used to call them CGI, okay, or even photoshopped images, and the latest generation, what we call them generated images. Okay, I know some people are expecting me to use the word AI. We never use it. Okay, there is nothing intelligent, nothing clever in it. Okay, this is just software, programs, algorithms. Okay, you do whatever you want, but my advice: don't get fooled by all this crazy stuff about AI. Okay, we are computer guy. We do computer and coding everywhere, every day. Sorry, this is just software. Okay, but whatever. We call them generated images, and the final category would be hybrid, the composite images, a part of natural mixed with generated images. Okay. So here a nice bunch of people, faces. Who can say which one is real, which one is fake?
Those meaning are ugly looking people.
Yeah, ugly looking people. Okay. So,
I hope none of them are real.
Actually, one is real.
No.
Just one.
The handsome
But
one's real.
it's not working in the mist anyway. Okay. So let's take a look how it should work. This is Grégoire on my right. I took a picture of him and put it in Tungstène to get the signatures of a clean and natural image, okay, a regular one, okay. You have to trust me. It's just two samples and or two.
What is the third panel?
This one?
Yes.
This is mosaic.
Okay.
This is for the guys who is in training this week. This is a Fourier made upon the probability map in mosaic.
Got it.
Sorry for the other guys, but
No, well,
okay.
for everyone else, right, you see a picture, but the computer doesn't see a picture. The computer sees math.
Numbers.
And you can perform mathematical operations on the file, and you get a nice, things are distributed in a very organic, natural way.
Exactly. So anyway, it's a way to get signature from a natural image, okay, to make comparisons. Right. If we take the first one, we get something very different. Can you see all these yellow part areas? What you're looking at, this is the way, it's a generated image.
This is nightmare fuel.
Okay, anyway, can you see there is a defect of flow here on the top of the guy in the air? Okay, it's an old version. It was made by Stilgan. If some of you know about Stilgan, anyway, it's quite old now. But what I am interested in is to discover and to show, to reveal how the neural networks worked at first place. Can you see all this yellow part and other different parts? This is the backstage of the image, all generated by neural networks. It's plant a seed and it's going to make it grow and to increase the details, the texture, and so on. This is what we are looking on the right. Okay, this is the backstage of the image through the neural networks. Okay. Same for this guy. Everything is wrong. Look at that lady. She must be generated or very sick. She got skin issues. Okay. Again, all these different subparts. This is the way a neural network is working. Okay. It got some very small seed. I mean, a small amount of pixels, and it's going to increase those pixels to make it look like you want. In that case, a face, a visage, people, a car, whatever. Okay, some other example, the same. And the only one who was real is the guy with the glasses and the bear. We get the same result just like I had with Grégoire. Okay, this was an old generation, an old neural network generation. We got something better, best quality now. But again, everything is wrong. When you put the guy on the left inside Tungstène, all the results are showing you're not facing a natural image. Okay, to be sure. Okay, I did the same thing with another guy. Look at this one. Can you see the mosaic signature?
Yeah.
Okay, very different between the generated faces and the natural image of Grégoire. I know it could be difficult to understand. You have to trust me, right? But our work is to get signatures and to compare all those signatures. Okay, just for the fun, some very fancy examples. I guess you know that guy. It was made by Midjourney, very famous. And the result from Tungstène are showing us that it's not a natural image. Okay, in any case, okay. Again, the color we get on the right doesn't look like a natural one. Our very famous President Macron in France, it was, we had some riot in France and demonstration called Gilets jaunes, yellow jacket. Okay, that's the reason why they made this one with and he's cleaning the street and so on. Something weird. Can you see the jacket is shining on the central image? Yeah. It's weird to understand, but when you ask a neural network to do something, it's all depends on the training, the first training. And obviously, Midjourney at this time was not trained to reproduce fluo colors. and he had some hard time trying to paint in, I would say, fluo orange the jacket.
Well, maybe we'd say neon.
Yes, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very famous one, the Pope in a white Balenciaga down jacket. Okay, okay. It's what is interesting in that case. You might the source image is a little bit cropped, but you got a guy in the shadow on the right. Okay, and if you take a look to what we get in Tungstène, can you see the guy on the right? Or I think. Can you see those weird lines, square line inside? This is just the neural network trying to rebuild someone, but he hasn't got enough information. Okay?
Oh.
Yeah. So when you use Tungstène to enhance what is in the dark, you don't get a regular pattern. You don't get a guy, actually, a human body. You get something like, wire. It's all made up. Okay? This is actually the neural network trying to make something looking like, but facing difficulties because he hasn't got enough information. And when you read or hear on TV or any place that, generated images are so good now, or so clean, so difficult to find, to detect, it's wrong, it's all false, it's a lie, okay? Generated images for us in this kind of technology we are using are much more easier to spot out than falsified image with Photoshop. Because it's not a photographic signature, okay? It's so different from a photographic image that it's quite easy to say it's generated. Okay? And in the case of the PAP, it was very easy. The same for the guy, very famous one. It's nice picture anyway, but it has nothing to do with a photographic image. Okay, this one is very famous. Okay, anyway, let's move to the final part of the speech of the seminar. Oh yes, but this one is very interesting. It was sent to us by the French press agency. According to you, is it natural or is it generated? That's the kind of question we're facing right now, because it's some kind of like you see cannon from a tank firing. It's in Ukraine. Okay, it's supposed to be a Ukrainian tank firing. It's a real one. They put like a GoPro on the tank. In French, we say tourelle.
The turret.
Exactly. Just to make a small film of the tank. But it's all natural, this one. Looks like generated, but it's not.
Indeed, this is how we discovered Tungstène. Is we were looking for North Korean photographs, and we noticed that the AFP, the French press agency, was pulling out some North Korean photographs that were being released because they were like, well, these photographs have been obviously altered or doctored. And we were like, how do you know? And they're like, well, we have this piece of software.
Indeed.
Yes. So I was like, bonjour.
Bonjour. Merci, Jeffrey. Okay, so the main issue right now, it's all about the generated images with Midjourney and Fred. Okay, every day you got a new, let's say, AI. Actually, it's all made the same way. The main part, the main aspect when you are going to design a neural network made for generated images, it's the training. What kind of data set you're going to use to be able to generate realistic images, okay? So Midjourney, for instance, was used a lot to generate fake image supposedly coming from Ukraine and Russia and so on, okay? However, if you take a look to any of this image, you got many issues. Fingers, too long, too short, 6 fingers, none on the gun can fire, and so on, okay? But the point is that they are increasing, okay? Midjourney and all the other software are getting better and better. And that's right, that right now, especially with generated videos, you get some samples very, very realistic. That's the reason why you need a specific software to assess all of this. Okay, so we are now working on a new project named CARBURE, which is about the automation and to assist the human in using Tungstène. Indeed, in Tungstène you find tens of filters, okay? Jeffrey can say, Kendra, Olivia, yes, Seth and so on, Michael. It could be tricky and quite difficult and take some time to use all the filters on one single image. Okay, so that's the reason why we are working on a new software layer based on deep learning to use Tungstène for you and to help you make the final decision. Okay. So the first challenge was to build the training data set. We're going to have a review of this data set. Second challenge, to evaluate and choose the right network architecture. This is the work of Grégoire. And the third challenge, not only detect forge the generated image, but also classify the alteration. Indeed, the first step is to say it's natural, it's falsified or generated. But we want to go further ahead. We want to have information about the kind of falsification, if it's something blurred, something added, something patched, removed, and so on, and if it was fully generated. Okay? So it's all about, well. This is basically, very roughly, how it works. On the very left, you got Tungstène and all these filters. We are going to to produce a huge amount of results with Tungstène. Okay, this is what we call the explosion phase. Okay, with no particular goal, we are going to produce a lot of results. Okay, then putting those results inside a specific and well-made neural architecture, going to reduce the size of the space, what we call the fusion, and hope to get a final and clever decision at the end. Okay, very basic diagram showing how it works. But the main point, and this is the entrance point on the left, you need Tungstène. That's the reason I am here this week. So it's all based on math, again, okay, nothing about photography and so on. Okay, yes, this is the same I just said. Yes, and the obvious goal of all that is to have a good classification, okay? I want to know if I can rely on the picture, and if not, why? Is it falsified like with Photoshop? If yes, where? What kind of manipulation and so on? Like, can you remember this morning the submarine? We got some information how it was made. The submarine was stretched out. Okay. Okay, so we had to find data sets to do the training. Okay, we downloaded a huge amount of images on Flickr. We got some images from the French press agency and so on. Okay, the main point when you deal with AI, again, is the data set for training. Okay, okay, cool. We had, the first attempt we made was what we call the direct approach, or I would even say the naive approach, okay? Just taking some images, a huge amount of images, and feed a huge neural networks. The results we got was something like 70 to 75% of good classification. It may look good, but it's poor actually, because you can't rely on just 75 or 70% of good classification. It's too low for operational decision making. Okay, if you want to know if you're going to send troops or a drone or anything, 70 or 75 is way too low. Okay? So this is what we call the naive or direct approach.
Roger,
yes.
Moira, you had a question pop up. I saw it pop up, but it was only partially there. And if it's relevant, why don't you just go ahead and ask it?
It's not specific to what he is describing and explaining right now. I'm just curious, how far away are we from having an affordable mass market tool that anyone, you know, my grandmother, for example, can download for the purposes of instant image verification?
Okay, good question. Can we save the question for the end of
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I was supposed to answer to that question.
Okay, great.
Okay. If you don't mind, what's his name?
Moira.
Moira. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, does the answer to the question involve you having a yacht?
I don't.
Okay.
Not yet, no.
Grégoire.
But he does a lot. He likes one. So again, if you just try to feed neural networks with a bunch of natural images, or I mean, Authenticate.
Authenticate, authentication.
No, real images,
Authentic images.
authentic image, fake image and so on. You get some results, but it's too low for operational decisions. Okay, way too low. Okay, so this is where CARBURE takes place and why we're working on it.
Why is poor Grégoire always the?
I'm in jail.
Yes,
Terrible. Sorry, please continue.
because usually speaking, neural networks love his face. Okay? We got very good results when we use his face.
Okay,
No, really. I don't know.
Successfully,
okay.
So we had to add tungsten in the loop. Okay, this is what we design what we call the tungsten tensors. Okay, actually, in tungsten we have tens of filters. Okay, which takes quite a long time to review a single image. Okay, for the most expert of you guys, the filters and the results in tungsten are not derivable, which means you can't make a simple data set from tungsten and feed the neural networks. Okay, it's not derivable.
Okay.
Okay, well, you have to trust me on that one.
Okay.
So
Can't just do a PCA on all your results.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, PCA is not derivable.
Okay.
So that's the reason why you can't design a neural network that could use directly. You can teach a neural network tungsten. Okay, we had to use tungsten as a pre-processor or pre-amplifier. Okay, so that's the reason why we are first designing what we call, this is the wording in neural network stuff, a tensor, which is going to embed a lot of results and filters of tungsten. And this is the way we feed our specific neural networks. Not with tungsten, not with a direct result, but with something in between called tensor. And this way, tungsten is going to be like a pre-processor, right? We made thousands of samples, and we had something new. We had the JPEG quantization. Indeed, in the labs, you can find many articles about people trying to have automatic detection and so on. But what they usually forget, the images, the case we're facing are coming from the internet, social medias and so on, WhatsApp, whatsoever. And the quality is very low.
Yes.
It's all the difference between something in vitro and in real life. Okay, so in our data set, we have been adding JPEG quantization to make it real, and boom,
Yeah. Sure.
okay, the result jumped very high. Okay, using tungsten as a preprocessor, we were nearly at something like 99% of good results. Okay, we are still working on it. Okay, increasing the capacity of detection and so on, but we are quite confident on the end of the project. The same results shown in another way. So we have a 12,000 of source images, 6,000 natural, 6,000 generated. Okay, we give them to CARBURE. Okay, not to the neural network itself. Tungsten, tensor, and then the network. Okay, and we jump to something like 95 to 99. Sorry.
99.6?
Yes, percent of good classification. Okay, that was the diagram and charts are showing. Okay, the capacity of CARBURE to make the separation between the two kinds of images.
That's like Owen's grade in my class.
Right. So the same result in another way. Can you see the two clouds, white and red? This is another fancy way to show how CARBURE is working. We want him to be able to separate what is wrong, what is fake, to what is real. Okay? And what I can't show you right now in my result, oh, I forgot to put in my presentation. Sorry. we have added,
That's why you can't show it to us.
I could
No, I'm
maybe.
teasing.
No, I could. Once we know what is real, what is fake or generated, we want to know what was the kind of alteration we find on the image. So right now we have some kind of 13 classes of alteration, like blur, adding, destroying, removing, moving, and so on. And we are jumping to 99% of good classification, even with the classification, the sub-classification of what has been made on the image. Okay? This is one of the latest work we just made. Okay, I know it's not easy to understand, especially when it's from French to English.
I
But
thought
anyway,
it was
so can I answer the question of
Moyara, yes.
So,
Go ahead, Rod.
Yes, indeed. One of the final purpose of this project funded by the French Department of Defense, maybe not for my grandma or your grandma, but to be able to release a public software, a public tool, maybe online, we don't know yet, maybe at the MIS, to help the press agency, journalists, non-governmental organization, scientists, and so on, to be able to quite easily and quite quickly review a huge amount of images.
So if you were to right-click on the image, would it take you to a new page, and there would be Grégoire saying,
We, yes, you know, red or green, like,
Yeah.
yes, indeed, yes. So, yes,
Please continue.
no, Jessica, if you've got a question, you're next. And if you're
thank you
online,
for your attention anyway. I can answer to any question you want.
I was very curious when you talked earlier about how your software can very quickly tell when something is a generated image that was clearly taken by a camera, about how it would handle any attempts to obfuscate. So for example, if I had a generated image, but I used my high-tech camera to take a really good photo of that generated image, I would now have a photo,
Indeed.
but it would be a photo of a generated image. How would the software treat something like that?
Actually, we can detect the rephotography of an image.
Okay.
You know, yes, it was one question we had at the very beginning of Tungstène, and we don't face this kind of case very often, actually. But you may.
Gaddafi.
Yes, we had one very famous example coming from the French press agency was fooled by a journalist who was in Libya when Gaddafi was killed. Okay? They received a picture of the dead body of Gaddafi, but we can clearly see it was you had the background of a camcorder, okay? And someone took the picture of the camcorder and forgot to remove all the background and the screen, okay? We say to the AFP, be careful. We got many clues. It's not a real one. It's a rephotography or something. You say no. We are very confident. Our journalists on site. It's all clear. They published the picture. It was on a Friday. Monday we went to the AFP. Everybody was crying. It was all fake. It was not even the dead body of. It was a fake picture on the screen of a camcorder and. We use on a smartphone.
Well, from an intelligence standpoint, I could see a situation where you might have a picture of people looking at a missile test or something like that, and there's a newspaper in the background, or there's a map in the background, or there's something that we think is interesting intelligence, but it actually is falsified in some way, and you wouldn't be able to tell from the picture of the picture that they had essentially.
Yes, maybe, every technique, every technology has its own limits.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, when it's too small on any picture, it's hard to have a mathematical signature if it's too small. But the question of obfuscation and how can we introduce the notion of stiltness, did you say that in English? Okay, as we know with Grégoire how to detect something fake, obviously, we know how to make it undetectable. Okay? We haven't done it yet because we don't want to give the tools to anyone to do that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I'll go to Bill and then after.
Hi, I walked in a little late, so maybe you covered this, and forgive me if you have. But what's your funding? You said that the initial funding came from MOD?
French DOD.
Okay. And so who are your customers? You mentioned AFP. Is it largely governmental?
Yes, mainly.
So intelligence and,
Well, AFP is not governmental.
of course, but
Our main customers are, of course, governmental, like French DOD, French Ministry of Interior or Homeland Security, Justice, French Department of Justice. Sometime I've got some expertise from random people, French Press Agency, but huge organization in Europe, European Commission and so on.
so are there other European governments that are also interested?
European Commission, which is working for several governments. We used to go to Morocco and I trained the Moroccan police and so on, but it was some time ago now. Yes, indeed, and this is a link with the question of this kind of software, due to the training, the cost and so on, is not used by any single individual. Okay? With CARBURE, we would like to provide an easy tool at a lower cost for maybe not my grandma, but some smaller organizations.
And are there competitors of yours in this?
Not as we know, no, I don't think so. Maybe, but not with a commercial and final product.
We competed Tungstène against there is one other commercial competitor in the market, but we ultimately concluded that, and indeed, there's another think tank that uses the competitor, and we just preferred Tungstène.
Yes, very good for us.
I don't want to monopolize this, but it's just like, wouldn't search engines just be naturally interested in?
We saw it, yes, but actually, it's,
How about
you can make more money
large
with
news
fake
agencies
stuff
in the United States?
yeah.
I know a guy.
Cough it up, and again.
We went to see in Paris all the French press, all the main paper, they don't care. They prefer to release and diffuse a fake image and then make articles and publicity to house. We are very sorry, we published a fake image and now we're going to tell you the true story behind the image and so on. Okay.
So 2 stories for the price of 1, essentially?
Exactly.
Like the royal family.
For press agency like the AFP, it's not the same story, okay? Because they are the source of all the chain, okay? But the final paper, they don't care. Fake or no fake, it's not a real issue for them right now.
Go ahead, and then I see, after this, I see Benedict Hofter online, but go ahead.
Okay, well, you kind of actually did briefly touch on the answer. You said that you have the capability to create an undetectable image, which my question before you mentioned that was, similar to how somebody invents squish squash and then somebody makes their radar cross section smaller. Sorry, their radar cross section smaller, or et cetera, et cetera. What are the control mechanisms that you are thinking of putting in place if you distribute this software to stop adversaries and malicious actors from using and training on your software?
Yeah, fortunately, all the organization and all our customers are reliable organization.
I had to ask very, very nicely and
Yes.
more than once.
Yes, indeed. For instance, I guess it was Russians embassy and the South Korean contacted me some years ago, but I didn't went so far with them, actually. I just remained silent, okay? As our main client and founders is a French DOD, anytime we got some question about, who may contact us about Tungstène and this kind of technology, we asked the French DOD, do you know these guys? Can we go? And so on. Okay. It's very surprising, I know, for you, the Americans, that it's not, how to say, sensitive software or we got some restriction for export. Okay, we don't. However, we say to the French DOD to whom we are selling the software. Not what they're doing with that. It's just a business secret, but the identity of the organization buying the software. And about the undetection thing, we don't release anything about that on purpose. Okay, we have conducted research on that and so on, but we keep it for us. Okay. I don't think that CNS is interested in making fake pictures indetectable, but it may happen for some governments. If we do so, we only will do it for our own government.
And here I would add. I
Okay,
mean,
cool.
One thing I would observe from the outside is there is a cat and mouse game. I mean, I think the original version of the software that we purchased would not do so well in the world right now.
Yes.
But there are now many more filters and the filters are vastly improved. And I just think a natural condition of life is people will make better fakes and you will have to make better software.
It's a race.
And this will just go on and.
Can you get a minute to show the software, maybe?
Yes, can we, I want to take the one question online
yeah,
from
sure,
Benedict
sure,
Hofter,
sure.
and then feel free to show the software if you'd like. But Benedict Hofter. Hofter?
Yes, just Benedict, that's fine. Thank you very much for the extremely interesting presentation. I'm currently a research intern at the Vienna Center for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation in Vienna. My research is focused on misinformation in nuclear emergency response and public communication. Now, in some initial talks with experts at the IAEA, I was told that even experts have now come to the point where, or let me put it this way, generated images or artificially changed images have gotten to the point where even experts at the IAEA are now having a tough time discerning real from fake images. For example, looking at generated images of nuclear power plants in theory with some malfunctions or maybe smoke rising. And the implication of that, of course, is can be quite dramatical because it implies that a targeted information campaign in a certain area that with a population located closely to a nuclear power plant could be targeted with generated images, and it could potentially take some time to verify what is actually happening. So in regards to Tungstène and Galathée, what potential do you see for automating the image detection with this software? Because obviously there's tremendous value in the software for agencies like the IAEA and national authorities in emergency response. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Very, very interesting. Indeed, the basic speech right now and idea that generated images are so perfect, no one can tell if it's wrong, fake or not. It's all wrong or false. Okay, you were talking about AI expert. EIA, sorry, I don't.
Effective altruism?
No.
The International Atomic
Oh,
Energy.
IAEA.
Yes.
I went there anyway, Vienna, okay. So the fact is that people are just watching with their eyes and trying to use basic visual techniques on high-end computer-generated images. Okay? So if you want to debunk generated images, you need to have the proper tools at the same level. Okay? What I can say right now is that with Grégoire, we have to undergo the same speech in France, in Europe, where that generated images are so good or so well done now, it's impossible to debunk them. It's all false. It's wrong, okay? Because those guys are not using the proper tools. That's it, okay? It's from a visual point of view, it's very nice. I guess some film are going to make with generated images. We used to have green screen and so on, going to be all replaced by generated images. But whatsoever, when it comes to scientific analysis, you need to have the proper tools. This is why our approach is fully based on maths. Okay, we first have to understand how a deep neural network is working and generating images to be able to design CARBURE and GALATHÉE. Can I?
Yeah,
what-
if you're gonna pull that up,
Yes,
you
yes.
absolutely may, but I will say something along this lines. I mean, one of the things I have really liked about the way you all approach the software is that, and in this way, it's very French, I think, in the best possible way, is that, well, it's embedded in a kind of epistemology.
Yep.
You know, there's a
Exactly.
philosophical outlook and,
You're right.
it's getting uploaded.
Yes, I want
Yeah.
to change the screen.
Oh, we'll let
share.
him, I'm stalling for you by this intervention, so you should coordinate.
Can I change my screen I'm sharing? If you don't
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I will continue stalling. So one of the things I like is, you know, I sometimes say that the software is in your head, right?
Yes.
These are tools for interrogation, and the challenge is that, you know, some of the best fakes aren't fakes at all. They're a real picture that somebody misrepresents, right? And it succeeds because people want that representation, and so, you know, I like you, am much less worried about generated images because I think we do, once you see a million of them, we do intuitively see the little ways in which they seem off. But even if they are perfect for our eyes. They are not
Exactly.
mathematically perfect.
Exactly.
They do not look like a real sensor. And then, you know, as you say, when you run it through the filter, it pops out. So if you just want to use your eyes, then you might be in a little trouble, but.
Yes, because you know, the purpose of generated images is just to look perfect for the human eyes, not to look perfect for Tungstène. So one has to think about it and maybe to design generated images for Tungstène, which is obviously useless. Okay, that's why we are telling everyone that generated images are made for human eyes, look nice, but or from a mathematical point of view, how would I say? Let me, Jeffrey, wrong or not so well built and so on. Okay.
So, have I stalled long enough for you to?
Yeah, I guess so.
Outstanding. My job here as moderator is nearly complete.
Okay, let's take, I'm missing some part of my screen. Okay. Very nice mid-journey image. Okay, so this is the interface of Tungstène with a lot of filters, and we got this new. Can you see the yellow ones over there? This is a Galathée filters. Okay, basically made for debunking generated images. Okay.
By the way, you'll notice the software is entirely in French.
Yes, you request for that. You ask for that to stay in French, but in French, yeah. Well, it's nice, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful language.
Yeah, it's so close, and English is so close to
Keep
French.
Sam Lair employed.
Pourquoi est-ce votre nom Tungstène? Why didn't you go with like?
Good question. Yeah, okay.
Or the segmentada?
Everything or nearly everything, all the filters. Let me show you. For instance, these filters, his name is Cobalt, Mosaic, Q3, Q5, Mercury, Argon. They are meaningless. I mean, we choose names on purpose. It was an initial request from the French DoD. If someone was to pirate or to steal the software, they can't understand what it was about.
There is no
I
manual.
know it's crazy, but
Okay.
So you just get the result, and you're like, what is this?
What is it? Exactly.
Well, we have the training, so we have to go to our notes.
you can't do anything with the software without the proper training. So we use Tungstène. I can't even remember why.
It's actually worse than that because, you've got some of the features about how the mouse clicks work.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Well, we changed that.
Yeah, that kind
In
of
the first version, you can't even click with the left button. You have to make a first right click and then the left and so on. Because the guys in France was so anxious about the software to be pirated or stored that they wanted us to make something very difficult to understand.
You succeeded.
Yes, indeed.
It was beautiful.
Yes. Well,
Absolute misery it was to use. No one ever could have stolen it. So why does this button not work?
Let's see. Okay, so I got my source image, which is a generated images. let's take one filter from Galathea. Look, it's in French, but it's easy to read. You know, I guess
Yeah, if you
some of
speak
you read
French.
now you can read Korean or Chinese or Arabic and so on. So French is not an issue at all. Okay, let's wait for the final result on that one. Yeah, it's just a laptop, you know. Okay, great. Okay, this is one filter among many. I can go through all the results. Normally, on any natural image, when I go through the result, the shape, the silhouette should disappear. Okay. Obviously, it does not. Okay, the little girl is still showing. Okay, why? Because the way the image was built is not. I'm missing the word. Is not like a natural image. Okay, in French, conforme ou cohérent with, not consistent. Sorry, not consistent with the way a camera would do it. Okay. Actually, in that filter, if we take any natural image and using that slider, everything is going to shade away. Okay. What we discover with a neural network, it does not. Okay. Which is a quite just one filter, an easy way to assess if it's generated or not. Okay. Let me show you something else. Sorry, it's a little mess on my text because we are in a training right now. Not... Yeah, I know. Let me see. I'm sorry, I've got so many examples. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
They're also fun though.
indeed. I'm looking for one specific one. Well, it's a little bit oriented, you know.
Oh, hey.
Well, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not going to. Ah, tu sais, c'est celle avec la minette la militaire qui. I won't find it, sorry. We're sorry. DGA, sorry, give me 1 minute. Can you
Stall a
Yeah.
little bit more? Yeah, sure. One thing that was very, both very fun and a little terrifying is the first time Roger came and gave the training,
Yeah, go ahead.
we had a student simply refuse to believe the software worked. And he threw a temper tantrum and he walked out. And while we thought that behavior was probably unacceptable, we were also a little bit like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't work. So we devised a series of tests, Dave Schmerler, who used to work here, and we started running them, and it was really interesting because we would take our own pictures and we would run them and they looked very natural. And then we had this idea, well, we would run the software against other real pictures, like pictures released by DoD. And we were shocked at how much DoD edits their own images. And so then we were sort of really struggling for training data. And so I have a friend who's a wedding photographer. And so he sent me a bunch of the photographs that he had digitally altered for the, to make the groom and the bride look a bit better. And then we would report back to him what he had done. And it worked quite well. Did I stall long enough?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. You're very good at. Okay, this is an image, a perfect example of what we call an hybrid image. It's it's based on a natural image. Some falsifications was made with Photoshop, and a small part is generated. Okay, so it's a French female officer in France. All right, so this is one result. I mean, four results coming from Tungstène with one filter. Filter is CX. Can you please let's expand the result a little bit? It's not easy to. How can I get rid of the panel on the top of my screen because. Sorry guys.
Oh, the
I need
zoom
IT.
control.
Yeah, how can I get rid of?
Oh gosh, we have now so many things in the chat.
Okay, cool, thank you. Okay. So on that particular image, many manipulation was made, but what is interesting, can you see the red square
Yeah.
on the right? On the
Yeah.
source image was nothing. Okay, it was like a poster generated and passed over the natural image. With the filter, we are able to see there was a map behind. There was something behind. Okay? This is a perfect example of what I called at the beginning of my presentation a palimpsest. Okay, a digital palimpsest, and you can get it that way. I guess it was some kind of map or something. So right now, our filters are working quite good, quite well. Of course, the technology of generated images is evolving every day. Okay, we have to stick to it. That's the reason why with Grégoire and the rest of the team, we are working all day on that. But our main expectation right now is on CARBURE, because we are going to expand and enhance CARBURE in time, okay, and add all new features in CARBURE. And maybe one day, who knows, the MIS could take benefit of it. Or maybe in Vienna,
IAEA. I know, well, the Director General is kind of a friend
way-
of the center.
By
So
the
maybe
way,
we
is
should-
Benedict happy with my answer? I didn't ask.
Benedict, are you satisfied with Roger's answer to your question?
Yes, very much so. I guess if I may be permitted, just a short follow-up. So do you see the potential for this to be automized in a sense that if there was some targeted misinformation campaign with, hundreds of fake images being distributed online, that something like your technology here could pick that up, automatically analyze the data automatically and flag these images as misinformation to the human agents?
Yeah, so I mean, I take this point, like it would be spectacular if, also very unlikely, but wonderful and spectacular if Twitter just deployed this so that, you got a flag on an image that said, this has been really heavily manipulated, and it doesn't have to tell you what happened, just,
Right.
of course, every Instagram image would come with a flag, right? Because life never looks in real life quite like it looks on Instagram.
But Benedict, we are in Paris, so it's something like 2 hour flight from Vienna, and I love Vienna. We'll be more than happy to go come in Vienna and give you a full demo of CARBURE and Tungstène. No, I'm not kidding, actually.
Yeah, well, we can.
I went to Vienna with
So-
him several times.
Yeah, he's in our. Yeah, that's we have the Vienna Center. But
Is Edith Bursac still working?
Edith
there?
is still there, along with you.
oh yeah, oh Bill, I didn't see you. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go to Vienna, you have to ask the boss.
Okay. Yeah, so yes, Benedict, so please feel free to ask. We could fly to Vienna.
Well, that would be fantastic. I don't know if it will be possible before my internship ends, but yeah, maybe we can stay in touch, and seeing a demo used on some nuclear power plant pictures would certainly be quite impressive.
Yeah, and demo are free anyway, so. Good news.
Maybe we should just invite you out for demos. Are there other questions online or in person? I know so many of my colleagues were in the training, so we have the opportunity to just harass Roger at
Yes,
great
indeed.
length, so.
We plan to.
And anyway, thank you for the trainees, because it's tough subject, and they are not sleeping, they are in the class in the morning, so they are very good.
Wow, all right. All right, well, if we have no further questions.
Thank you
join me.
guys for your attention and for your time, and for having us in Monterey once again.
Great, thank you.
All right.